The sun climbed slowly over the mountains, its golden light spilling into a valley that had, until that moment, belonged only to wind and water. The morning air was sharp and pure, touched with the scent of sage and wild mint. A pale mist drifted along the river banks, curling through the tall grasses like smoke rising from an unseen fire. Across the open meadow, the land seemed endless, a sweep of color and silence framed by the faint blue outline of distant hills. Down the narrow ridge road came a wagon drawn by two weary oxen, their flanks glistening in the pale light. The wooden wheels creaked under the weight of tools, bundles, and hope. Walking beside them was a man of middle years, tall and broad shouldered, his face marked by wind and sun, and beside him trotted a small, wiry girl, her braids bouncing with each step. They were father and daughter, Jonas and Sarah McAllister, pioneers in search of a place to begin again. Their journey had stretched for weeks across plains and forests, through storms and stillness. They had known nights without fire, days without shade, and hunger that burned as fiercely as the prairie sun. Yet their purpose never wavered. The land had called to them, not with words, but with the quiet promise of a future that might be shaped by their own hands. When they reached the broad meadow at the valley's heart, the oxen slowed and lifted their heads, as though sensing the rest that waited there. The river wound through the tall grass in a silver ribbon, its water clear and cold. Clusters of willow and cottonwood grew thick along the banks, and beyond them stretched a forest of spruce and pine, dark and steady. It was a place both wild and welcoming, untamed yet rich with possibility. Jonas stopped the wagon at a rise of ground near the river's bend. The earth was dry and firm, and from this small height the whole valley unfolded before him, the river glinting in the light, the meadows rolling outward in waves of gold, and the mountains standing silent like ancient guards at the edge of the world. He breathed deeply, tasting the clean air. In that instant, he knew that the long search was over. For a while, father and daughter simply stood and looked. There was peace in the stillness, the kind that comes only at the threshold of something new. The wind stirred Sarah's hair, carrying the faint cry of a hawk high above the ridge. She felt small in that vastness, yet somehow strong, as though the valley itself had opened its arms to her. Without delay, Jonas began to prepare for work. From the wagon, he lifted his worn axe and set his hat low against the sun. Sarah followed close behind, eager to help, though her hands were small and soft. Together they walked toward the forest, where tall trees waited in quiet rows, their trunks straight and proud. The air inside was cool and shadowed, filled with the scent of pine resin and the whisper of leaves. The first blow of the axe rang sharply through the morning. The sound echoed through the trees, startling a pair of doves into flight. With every swing, chips of bark flew like sparks of light, and the rhythm of labor filled the forest. Sarah gathered fallen twigs and cleared the underbrush, watching as her father's strength bit deep into the wood. When at last the tree shuddered and fell, the crash rolled outward like thunder, the sound of man's arrival in a land that had never before known such work. The hours passed in steady rhythm. More trees were felled, trimmed, and stripped, each one a promise of shelter. Sarah's arms ached and her palms burned, yet she moved with tireless energy, dragging branches, stacking kindling, and rolling smaller logs through the grass. Sweat mixed with dust on her face and her hair clung to her neck, but she felt no complaint, only pride. By midday, they began hauling the logs out of the forest. Jonas looped ropes around the heavier trunks and the oxen strained forward, muscles rippling beneath their hides. The earth shook softly beneath their weight. Sarah pushed and steadied, sometimes tripping in the grass, sometimes laughing when she managed to move a log nearly as long as herself. Each journey from the woods to the meadow left behind a faint trail of bent grass, marking the birth of their new home. When the pile of logs was high enough, Jonas began to measure the ground. He marked the outline of the cabin carefully, stepping off the distance by pace and memory. Sarah knelt beside him, fitting smooth stones along the base to form the foundation. Her hands trembled from fatigue, but her touch was sure. The sound of hammering, scraping, and the occasional call of a bird filled the quiet air, weaving a song of beginnings. As the day wore on, the first walls began to rise. One by one, the logs were notched and stacked, their ends locking together in the old frontier way, simple, strong, and built to last. Sarah fetched tools, held pegs, and brushed away the shavings that curled like ribbons from the freshly cut wood. The smell of pine filled the valley, sharp and clean, mingling with the faint sweetness of the river breeze. The sun sank low in the sky, turning the light golden and soft, Long shadows stretched over the meadow, and the air cooled with the scent of water and earth. The walls of the cabin glowed in that light, rough and humble yet full of dignity. Sarah stood back for a moment, her heart swelling at the sight. Though unfinished, the cabin already felt alive, a small defiance against the emptiness of the wild. By dusk, the structure was nearly complete. Jonas worked to fit the roof beams while Sarah gathered handfuls of straw and clay, mixing them to seal the gaps between the logs. Her hands were caked in mud, her dress torn and streaked, yet her spirit was light. The sky deepened from gold to violet, and the first stars began to appear. The sounds of their labor softened as night drew near. The ring of hammer, the creak of timber, the low murmur of the river close by. At last, the roof was covered and the doorway stood framed against the dimming light. Jonas built a hearth from smooth stones gathered at the riverbank, arranging them with patient precision. Sarah fetched dry twigs and laid them within. When the first spark caught, the flames leapt up, small and bright, their light flickering over the new walls. The cabin glowed with warmth, the first fire ever to burn in that silent valley. That night, the wilderness no longer seemed so vast. Outside, the wind moved gently through the grass, and the river whispered beneath the moon. Inside, the fire crackled softly, casting shifting shadows across the smooth logs. The air smelled of smoke, sap, and freshly cut wood. Jonas sat in quiet thought, his eyes reflecting the flames, and beside him lay Sarah, curled beneath a quilt, her face peaceful in sleep. The sound of her slow breathing mingled with the murmuring of the valley beyond. In that humble home, no bigger than a single room, there was safety, peace, and the pure satisfaction of work completed by honest hands. The father's heart was full of gratitude, the child's of dreams yet to come. They had turned raw wilderness into shelter, emptiness into belonging. In the days that followed, they finished what they had begun. The floor was laid with rough planks, the roof sealed with bark and earth. A crude table was built and a shelf for their few belongings. Sarah gathered wildflowers from the riverbank and placed them in a tin cup by the window, a touch of beauty amid the simplicity of their life. The valley slowly came to know their presence, smoke rising each morning, laughter carried faintly on the wind, the soft clatter of tools and the steady rhythm of labor. Through summer heat and autumn rain, they worked and lived and grew, and as the seasons turned, the cabin became not just a house of wood but the heart of something greater, the beginning of a settlement that would one day fill the valley with fields and farms and families. Long after other cabins stood nearby, people would still point to that first small dwelling by the river and speak of the day it was built. They would tell of the man with hands like oak and the little girl whose courage was as bright as morning light. They would remember how the two of them, alone and unafraid, built the first roof beneath the endless sky, and how, with each log they lifted, they built not only a home but the foundation of a community and the spirit of a nation. And though years would pass and their names might fade from memory, the valley would never forget. The wind that moved through the grass would carry echoes of their labor, the river's song would still whisper of the first fire's glow. It would remind all who came after that once long ago, a pioneer child and her father entered an empty valley and left it forever changed, not through conquest or wealth, but through courage, faith, and the quiet strength of two hearts determined to begin.